Alright, so today we're going to learn about solving radical equations. So far all we've been working with is radical expressions. Before we start, I need to clarify something with you. Okay, if you were to solve this, what would the solution for x be? Plus 5 or minus 5, because you could square 5 to do that, or you could square negative 5 to do that. But when I do this, it's just 5. Okay? Because on this, it's implied you're taking the positive root. If I ever wanted negative 5, I would have to express it like that. Okay? I don't know. There's just a few things there that just concepts with numbers.
So if we ourselves are adding the square root thing, then it's plus negative unless you, so you have to already have it written down and you're stating what it is for it to not be a plus negative.
Like if this is shown already, because
Yeah.
I gave it to you,
Yeah.
you can assume that's a positive. Right.
But
But in this case, to solve it, it's like you're adding it in there. Right?
yeah, okay.
Yeah. But really, this is just saying what could square. Well, 5 could square, or negative 5 could square, right? Okay, here we go. Number 1. I am going to isolate the radical part. Okay, so there's a 4, a 7, and a 3. Algebraically, what do you want to work with first?
Times it by 3.
Times by 3. So I'm timesing both sides by 3. So canceled the 3. And then that's 27. Now, what do you want to move? The 4 or the 7? 7. So minus 7. Okay, I'm going to divide by 4. And I get 5. So that's half the battle, is isolating the radical.
Now you square it.
And now to get rid of the radical, I'm going to square it. Squaring square root eliminates it, and I get 25. Okay, number 2. Do you notice with the radical, there's a bunch of stuff with the radical? Okay? I cannot separate a 1 and a 4 if it's inside the radical.
So then you guys square them both.
Well, first of all, I'm going to do the 5, though, okay, because it's not inside the radical. So I'm going to multiply by 5. But do you see here that I'm not allowed to do something like a subtract 1? Because I can't take it out of the radical. It's in that radical right now. I can't just do that. So once I have the radical by itself, I'm going to square. Okay, so the square cancels the square root. And you get 4x plus 1. Cole, what's that? I saw you typing.
625.
625. So now I can subtract 1. So do you see how I can do it now, but I couldn't before? 624, and now I can divide it by 4. And what did you say, 156? Okay, number 3. So what kind of algebra am I going to want to do here? Subtract 9. And what? Actually, I don't need to right now. What do I know? What did we just talk about? If I have the square root of something, it's implied that it's going to be the positive version. So this will never square root to be negative 4. Unless I have that would work, because now I'm doing the negative root of something. But this is saying the positive root to be negative 4. That's not going to work out for us. Okay? Okay, number 4. What would you want to do with something like this? Square both of them. So then it eliminates the square root. That eliminates the square root. Algebra says I'm going to want to isolate because I only have x's as a variable. So which side do you want to get rid of x's?
Move the 3 to the other side and the 7 to the other side.
Move the 3x. Once my x's are on one side, then get rid of the number. Okay. Last example here. What do you want to do right away? Subtract 2. How will you write this right-handed side?
It would be x subtract 2.
X subtract 2. That's it. You can't put stuff together. You can't put an x and a number together, so that's how it is. Okay, now what do you think the next maneuver is? Square both sides. Okay, so if I'm squaring this side, I'm squaring that whole side. Okay, this is going to create what kind of situation? It's going to create a foil, right? Do you see it? I get this error a lot that people write x squared plus 4 because they just square each thing. You're not squaring each term, you're squaring a unit, a binomial unit. So when you square a binomial unit, first, outside, inside, last. Some of you might be okay with doing those together right away if you're getting fast at those. And then what happened on this side?
Take away the square root.
Those just canceled. Okay, so this is important here. You're going to have to square a unit, which is going to create a whole FOIL system. Okay, when you see an equation like this, remember your algebra branch. What's happening? I have x squareds and I have x's. So what's my instant first step? I need a 0. So I'm going to move everything that way. So I'm going to have to subtract a 5x. And I'm going to have to subtract a 14. Okay, so x squared. What is a negative 2x, and a negative 5x? Negative 9x. What's a 4 subtract 14? negative 10. Okay, now this is a simple trinomial. So I'm trying to think, what could multiply to 10? 1 and 10. And I need to get a negative 9 out of it. So x equals negative 1, x equals 10. Okay, so I think on this one, it's probably a good idea to check our answers, because sometimes when you get 2, sometimes one of them's not a good answer. Okay, ready? I'm going to plug in 10. If I plug 10 in, ready? 5 times 10 is 50. 50 plus 14, 64. The square root of 64 is 8. 8 plus 2 equals 10, which is the x value. Did that work? Yes. Now I'm going to plug in the negative 1. 5 times negative 1. Negative 5 plus 14. 9. The square root of 9 plus 2 is 3 plus 2, which makes 5. Okay, so that was supposed to come out to be x. It was supposed to come out to be negative 1. So that did not work out. Okay, so here's the assignment today. You're going to finish the right-hand side of your hot dog, page 4. And then I want you to try these 8 questions. And I specifically picked them. There's some hard ones in there that I don't want you to try yet.